right, people, we are back in from the break on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show in my own words with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. And before we get into the final topic of conversation, got to shout out Jimmy Clay once again, that $20 donation via the Super Chats. Appreciate that love coming from Jimmy Clay. And folks, we are 11:01. $11.01 remaining from our daily goal of a $75 Super Chats. I know you guys can do it. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support you guys show us here at Touchdown Alabama magazine. The $20 donation there from Jimmy Clay. But we are 11:01. $11.01 remaining. 11:01 left from hitting our daily goal of that $75 via the Super Chats. Appreciate you guys showing your support. And also, before we get into the final topic of conversation, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. Folks, I'm telling you, for U.S. fans, for all of U.S. fans still overjoyed with the Tide's national championship, check out our championship collection merch. We got the merch right here. Grab you an 18 of them things. Grab you an 18 of them things, folks, t-shirt. 18 of them things, folks, t-shirt, hoodie or sweatshirt as well as got our 18 national championship shirts. We do designs which feature all 18 national championship years on the back of those shirts. Head over to tdawear.com and grab those championship merch t-shirts today. But we look at now the final topic of conversation for tonight, and that goes to one Keilan Robinson at the running back position, and the two reasons why it is awesome to see the return of Robinson to the program after he opted out prior to the 2020 campaign due to the coronavirus pandemic concerns there. But Keilan, even though he did not play this past season, that does not mean he was not working. He was at home in the Washington, D.C. area training with a good friend of his, and in the training, in the weight training, in the workouts, in getting himself prepared, mind and body, to come back to Alabama, he has gone from being a speed back to this brother looks like the Terminator. This man looks like a miniature version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is ready to do some damage. Keilan Robinson looks like an SEC back now. He looks like somebody that's going to run guys over, run between the tackles, plow through guys, as well as have the speed to blow by and get by guys. Now, we all remember his 2019 season, his freshman campaign, where he had 39 carries, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Coach Saban referred to him as the only running back with juice, with speed, with acceleration on the roster. He garnered much of the Kenyon Drake comparison, and those comparisons were true, especially when you looked at his speed on the field, getting to that second and third level of a defense and blowing by guys. I mean, he had 2 of the longest touchdown runs by a back, a 46-yard touchdown run and a 74-yard burst to the house as well. Now, with the transformation of his body right here, the two reasons why this is huge for the Tide. Number one, this allows for Alabama fans, or this allows for Trey Sanders to take his time in the rehab. This allows for Trey not to be forced back, not to be rushed back. He can really go through the process of rehabbing the right way from the injuries he suffered there from the car accident. This allows for Trey to rehab because prior to the news of getting Keilan Robinson back, the idea going through the minds of you as Alabama fans was, we got to have Trey back quick. Trey's got to heal back fast. We got to get Trey Sanders back to the program. Trey's got to heal quick. Now with this news on Keilan Robinson, you can now have Trey. He doesn't have to rush the rehab. He doesn't have to rush the recovery process. He can take his time making sure that he's back full on 100% at peak power, peak strength, full go here. Another thing that this allows for Alabama to do is in the event now, according to our own Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine, he does not see anyone flipping Kamar Wheaton, the five-star running back out of Texas from Alabama to elsewhere. He doesn't see anybody flipping Kamar Wheaton away from Alabama. He sees that Wheaton's commitment is strong, and Smith feels like Wheaton will sign his national letter of intent for the Crimson Tide come February. But in the event that somebody does possibly swoop in and sway Wheaton's commitment and sway Wheaton's mindset elsewhere, seeing the transformation of Robinson body-wise and seeing Keilan make this move to return to the Crimson Tide for the 2021 campaign in the fall, but coming back to start in the spring, getting that spring training down, seeing this happen, if another program was to sway Wheaton away from Alabama, the blow is not as bad. Why? Because you would bring a Robinson back, which would put you at having 6 backs on the roster. Now, quite typically, Alabama wants to have 5 backs on the roster, at least 5. Right now, with the return of Keilan, you're looking at 6, and if Kamar Wheaton was to sign his national letter of intent, that would put you at 7 backs on the roster. So, if with Keilan coming back, the two main things here, you don't have to put all of his pressure on Trey Sanders to come back fast, to come back quick. He can take his time. He can go through the rehab process, go through the recovery process. He doesn't have to rush it. And upon him getting back, he would be 100%. He would be fully healthy. He would be full go, and he would be able to provide to you what he was able to give on the field, especially in the matchup against Mississippi State, where he had 12 carries for 80 yards prior to sustaining the injuries from the car accident he had back there in Florida. We're back in Florida, that being one Trey Sanders. And then for Kamar Wheaton, if there was a situation where another program would sway him away from the Crimson Tide, having a Keilan Robinson would have you at the 6 running backs that Alabama would have there on the roster. But for Keilan, this is big for him because now it puts him in the mindset of, could he be that number 2 guy to pair with Brian Robinson after seeing what Jace McClellan did this past season and the speed that he brought to the table? A lot of people feel like, well, maybe the 1-2 punch could be Brian Robinson and Jace McClellan. But now, looking at the bulk of work that Robinson has done in transforming his physique, could this be the 1-2 punch of Brian Robinson and Keilan Robinson? I mean, this could be a situation where Keilan could be a 25-plus carries a game type of back, especially under Bill O'Brien. When you look at what O'Brien did with Carlos Hyde with the Houston Texans, you look at what O'Brien did with Ben Jarvis Green Ellis of the New England Patriots, you look at what O'Brien did with a young man by the name of Zach Zwinick. Zach Zwinick at Penn State in 2012, Zwinick had 203 carries for 1,000 yards on the head and 6 touchdowns. So we have seen in his coaching tenure, O'Brien has been able to work with different backs, get them to be 1,000-yard guys, get them to be successful. So in the conversation of Robinson, where we saw what he did as a freshman, we saw the speed, we saw the quickness, we saw the ability, we saw the burst he brought to the table. With him now becoming more than just a speed guy, could O'Brien potentially take Keilan Robinson to make him a 25 carries a game guy? Could he make him a 1,000-yard back? That will be something to see. That will be something interesting to take into consideration here. But Robinson transformed his body, built up his body, looks like an SEC back. And with him in here, you don't have to rush the process of Trey Sanders, and you got Kamar Wheaton if he was to be swayed elsewhere. You got Keilan Robinson in the fold here. But as always, Tide Nation, you want the best in news, notes, and coverage here on your Crimson Tide. It's very easy to get this. You can access this by downloading the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You can get the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you just so happen to have the Android phone. for your audio listening needs. We got you covered here. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Overcast.fm, TuneIn Radio, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Monday to continue the conversation that is Tide football. Looks like we have reached our goal here as Devin Holden donating at 11:01. Via the Super Chats. Appreciate that from Devin Holden. And also Jimmy Clay coming back again with that $12 donation. So we appreciate Jimmy Clay. We appreciate Devin Holden and everybody that supported us today in reaching that goal of $75 via the Super Chats. Appreciate the love that you guys have shown and continue to show to us here at TDA. As always, Tide Nation, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be in the description. Also, the print edition of the magazine coming soon. Print issue of Touchdown Alabama magazine coming soon, folks. And if you want to get that print edition free copy of that print edition, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You sign up, you click join, you become a member today. touchdownalabama.com, go to the site, register, click join, become a member so that you can be, or become a subscriber so that you can get that free print issue of Touchdown Alabama magazine that is coming soon. You can also copy that 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That link will be in the description also. But until next time, people, till next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing those things legitimately now to not be bored as the weekend is here. Be sure to get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, spend in my own words. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.